Okay guys, it's Harley and Bedazzled here from timeforahike.com. We reached out to the readers and put out a call for questions, and we got quite a few. And today we're here to answer it with video. So it's our first attempt at video, so don't be too hard on us, but we'll just jump right into the questions. So question number one, I'm going to read them off my phone, is what did you think starting out would be the hardest thing to deal with on trail? And when you were actually on the trail, what turned out to be the hardest thing, and how'd you deal with it? And that's from my Aunt Betsy. And since it's from my aunt, I'll answer it first. So I think going out, I kind of thought the mileage would be the hardest. And I'd never done more than 50 miles backpacking, consecutive days. So my first goal is just get 50, then get 100, then 200. But once I got out there, the mileage really turned out not to be the hardest thing, especially because you're progressively increasing. But I would say the hardest thing on the trail turned out to be the wildfires, and not for the reason you might think, trying to get around them or anything like that. But I was really, visuals motivated me on the trip, and just seeing the beautiful vistas. And once we got into NorCal, it was just like haze and smoke, and you'd be up on a ridge line, and there's lakes down there, and it's beautiful, but you just couldn't see it. And that was really tough, and sometimes the smoke was so thick, literally 30 feet in front of you was all you could see. So at that point, I had to turn to podcasts, to keep myself stimulated and to keep going. And up until that point, all the way to the desert and Sierra, I hadn't listened to music at all. But I really needed something, a mental stimulus when you're just walking through like smoke and haze. And that turned out to be the hardest thing, and that's how I dealt with it. So what about you, Bedazzled?
I think I was really concerned about how snow conditions in the Sierras would be like. I think it ended up being fine and didn't cause us too many issues, so I was never at the point that was like thinking about quitting or that I could not keep doing it. So I was actually fine. But I do think that wildfires are a lot harder to deal with, just because you couldn't do anything about it. So I was having a hard time just like skipping around wildfires, because just like you can't handle the situation if the trail is like closed. You just have to skip around that if you want or not. So that was more of a deal for me.
So the next question is from Vicki, who's been following along for quite a while. What was the worst experience you had on the trail? And I'll take this one first. So it's a story I omitted from the blog, and I guess you're getting it here first. So we were coming out of Side Valley, which is in Northern California, very near the end, Oregon border. And we had a huge climb, 3,000-4,000 feet, and we're doing it at the end of the day, and we got maybe 3/4 of the way up and just decided to camp on this like narrow saddle. And it was Bedazzled, myself, and Rhino, the female rhino from the trail. There were two, the one from South Africa, and we were just, we threw down our stuff, we're setting up camp, and the call of nature, rang my doorbell, and it was number 2. So it's like a narrow saddle, not many places to go. And, I had to go on this, I took this little path, and I'm like, okay, this is good. It's going away, from them. They can't see. There's some like overgrowth, but I found a spot, like a kind of circle, where not too much stuff is there. And I'm like, okay, good. Like I had a nice view, out into the distance. And I had my trowel, because I'm leaving no trace. You're supposed to dig 6 to 8 inches and a cat hole, and you make your deposit and cover it up. And so the only thing blocking my trowel and the ground, between my trowel and the ground, was a rock. So I reached down and picked up the rock, and I felt something squishy. It's like, is it moss? Is it mold? And I picked the rock up, and it was human shit. I put my hand in someone else's shit. And, okay, I used every expletive I had. I chucked the rock, but I still had a hand covered in shit. So I had to use my, wet wipes, and then I hand sanitized it like 5 times, and had to do my business. But someone had just taken a shit on the ground and put a rock on it. So That was pretty embarrassing. I didn't tell anyone when I got back to camp. I told Bedazzled a couple months later. It was pretty embarrassing. So that was definitely a low point on trail. I would say that was my lowest point, where it's like, why am I even out here, you know? But that was my worst experience on trail by far. How about you, Bedazzled?
I think my worst experience might have been crossing Spiller Creek. Just because I was really scared of, like, particularly river crossings in the Sierra. So, but at some point I just realized things are kind of working out, and you always find a way around them. You'll manage to cross them, and so I kind of started underestimating rivers. So I was just like stepping into them, not thinking too much about it. So I just were at that point that I just had committed, and it was really scary to me. I felt like I was close to getting swept away, but it was fine, I guess. So that was for me like definitely the scariest experience.
But was it the worst?
I don't feel like I had like particularly any like really bad experiences. Like I never were at that moment that it actually made me want to quit. Like I felt like I definitely couldn't handle the situation how it was.
Okay.
So
a follow-up question from Vicki. What did you enjoy the most? And I think I enjoyed the thing I enjoyed the most on the trail was definitely waking up each day, packing up camp, walking into the sunrise, and not knowing where you're going to camp that night, not knowing what is around each bend. It was just super stimulating, where everything's new. You know, you're always going forward, always going north, and just took things as they came, totally off the script. You didn't try to figure everything out. You just kind of walked forward and dealt with it as it came, and that really was a big source of enjoyment, and just kind of embracing uncertainty. And it turned out to be like that's what's stimulating. That's what kept me going forward. Just to know what's around that next bend. So that was definitely what I enjoyed most every day. You know, in addition to the sunrises and sunsets.
I think for me it was just being out there, like being active, just like this type of lifestyle. So for me, I could really find satisfaction in what I was doing. I was enjoying. I don't have like a particular best moment. I just like I could enjoy every day, I think.
So the next question is from Cynthia, a former coworker, and she wondered what the most surprising part of this journey was for both of us. So I'll turn it over to you.
I think I was surprised to see of what I was actually capable of doing physically. So I was like starting off with like not being in a really good shape, not physical conditions as you might think you have to, but it's like you like can slowly increase your mileage and you're just getting stronger day by day. So by the end I was really surprised of what I was able to do.
Yeah, and for me, what was surprising, I guess, was just being able to go forward each day, and I guess just kind of relying on yourself to deal with the situations and problem-solving skills, and you never knew what was going to happen to you or what was going to pop its head up, and just being able to move forward and being okay with that, not knowing what's going to happen or having everything planned out. So that was a big kind of change for me, and just kind of embrace chance and serendipity, and that was surprising how I could just make that transition to that and kind of let go and just kind of be along for the ride. Yeah.